and then the 14 that went to the hospital, and the teacher, and then including the gunman. Well, that doesn't even include the grandmother.
The grandma was airlifted. It hasn't been confirmed that she died in that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it just says resulting in her being airlifted to a hospital.
Jesus Christ, man. I don't know, man. When are we how long? But we just talked about it last week, though, man. I don't know.
What?
We just said, watch how what this guy did is going to spark other people
Oh,
to do
other
the same
people?
thing.
Yeah, most definitely. Only difference is this one died or got killed, and old boy in Buffalo didn't.
So he did get killed.
Who?
Because I'm hearing so many conflicting stories about.
Oh, you talking about the guy
gunman
here
from today?
Yeah.
Yeah, he got killed.
They took him out.
The guy in Buffalo he just got arrested.
Well, yeah, I know him, but
Oh.
because the early reports they said they got him alive.
No, they killed him.
Oh man.
Hey, he's alive? Bullshit.
What? Oh.
I don't know, man.
All right, well, it's 9:32. Let's get into it. We already know what 95% of our topic gonna be, so let's do our thing.
All right, man. Let's get into it.
D-Mark got that heat.
What you saying now? I'm the man now. I be flying in the bird when I land down. Bands on bands now, I got hella fans now. Chopper hit 'em, we call that a man down. I keep them racks on me, but I don't rap for free. They say that I'm Hollywood, it don't bother me. Bitch, please don't follow me, I don't do no following. Only taking phone calls when that money calling me. Choppers as tall as me, ballin' I gotta be. Niggas acting like bitches always got the tick. White on me, yo gotta inspire me. I was just a youngin' tryna get it, yeah we gotta eat. First it be fiery, make these niggas get tired of me. You a worker, I'm a boss, nigga, you can't fire me. Keep green like celery, dodging all of these felonies. Killing them with my melodies, going hard like on every beat. Shot it, thought it forever be. Fans, they keep on telling me that I'm the hardest in the street. Wait till I hit the industry. At first they wasn't feeling me, now these bitches they feeling me. I'm on top where the ceiling be. They done made my night hearing me, but what you saying now? I'm the man now. I be flying in the bird when I land down. Bands on bands now, I got hella fans now. Chopper hit 'em, we call that a man down. I keep them racks on me, but I don't rap for free. They say that I'm Hollywood, it don't bother me. Bitch, please don't follow me, I don't do no following. Only taking phone calls when that money calling me.
Listen, man. Welcome back to another episode of the Gun Line. Obviously, we got a lot to talk about tonight. This ain't want to get more upbeat, podcast, man. Obviously we done seen what's going on, and we was just here last week talking about the same thing. I don't know, man. Shit is a tough situation right here. But you know who I am. They call me Banks. And I'm here with the Colemans, Kenneth J.
What's good?
And Big Dick King.
What's going on? I don't know if I should have responded, but I did.
Well, I mean, it's true. It's true. You know what I'm saying?
No comment.
Yeah, man. So we back. You know.
Man, you don't stop stirring that
Damn. This shit loud as hell, man.
Loud as stirring.
Bro, this microphone crazy.
Yeah. Steve, what's going on, man?
What's good, Kazoo?
Yeah, man. Here we are again, bro. If you don't know, if you don't keep up with what's going on in the world, 19 folks, man, in Texas at a school just lost their life. Shit, man. Anybody else got something? I mean, I'm still
The process all this.
It's definitely something hard to process, bro, because this won't even 3 hours. We heard about the story. Then we looked into it about 4 hours ago when it came out.
It came out at like 4:30.
Yeah. So it's a tough thing.
I don't know. I'm so floored, man. Like, I'm honestly really just so floored about the situation, because we were just talking last week, about, something else potentially happening, man. People get the attention that they want with these situations, and, how that really breeds other people. And I want to call them sick, but they're not medically sick. They just some sick ass people. Anytime you got a guy who shoots his own grandmother before going in, I don't know, man. That's some off the wall shit there, man. And now you got 19 other people dead, man. Like, what? I mean, what is up with this? You shoot the first person and still somehow manage to get into the school. I don't know.
I think for me, my biggest thing is, we have grade school age children. And so we have 2 that's in elementary school and 1 that's in middle school. And just like thinking about the fact that as a parent, you drop your kids off to school in the morning thinking they're good for the day, only to be told, hours later that your child is no longer there, or for the teacher, like your son or daughter or husband is no longer there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it's just disheartening, really.
You talk about cowardice. I mean, you are nothing but a coward, to prey on these kids like that, man. And I don't know, man. Like, somebody out there, make it make sense to me, I mean, because this is, I don't know, man. This shit is next level, man. And we talk about it so often, and we talked about it last week.
I think that's part is more me. We just here a week ago talking about a mass shooting, where somebody just went in with a rifle, claimed the lives of, multiple people, and then to turn around and now we talking about another guy took a rifle and claimed the lives of, people, but majority children. All of us on this podcast has kids, so this hit us very deep. Definitely being advocates of firearms. What I'm saying, but we put our family first. Um, so it just kind of puts us in a very clouded headspace a little bit. But I
It
definitely
it,
agree with
make,
Cowardly.
it makes me go into a deeper thought. Um, I sent a nice post to the team, and just going back until when we were in school. Back in 2007, I was in 10th grade back when Virginia Tech happened. That it seemed it was we were so distraught, like, oh my God, I couldn't believe this happened. Like, maybe that's it. But going back and looking at history and seeing how prevalent this is now, it just makes you think about the stipulations that schools are doing. Like, I don't know. I don't want to say that they're doing anything wrong. I just keep thinking about how someone could get inside the school and shoot that many people in a short amount of time.
I think like the biggest thing for a lot of us, we were actually just talking about that, is you can usually go through the front door because that door is always open.
Not in
And
most
then
schools now. I mean, I don't know how it is in Texas, but I know now
I
you
was
actually
gonna
gotta
say
you
here,
gotta ring a doorbell to get in schools in the front
I
door.
know here is harder. You just have to get buzzed in or whatever. But like,
Right.
um, I feel like Texas is a little bit more liberal or whatever. So I feel like here we're more tightened and closed down because of the pandemic, but Texas is one of the states that wasn't really like that. So they didn't have those precautions in place. So you can usually go through the front door at the very least, even if you get buzzed in to go through the front door, you're in the building and they just request that you stop at the office. They're expecting you to stop at the office and that be your first stop. So if you get buzzed in and you go into the building, and you're planning to do ill will to people, you're not going to stop at the office. You just going to go wherever you're going to go.
Very true.
And like for the elementary schools here, I don't think that they have officers on site. It's usually just the middle schools and the high schools. So,
I mean, I know our kids' school don't have one, so
right. So I'm just imagining that this elementary school may not have had that either. Or
Yeah,
like a
they're
security
saying it
desk.
was a really small town. Like, you think of
Right.
like Brunswick, it was very, very small.
Right.
yeah.
So I'm
Which means
just
they probably
kind
got a
of
sheriff and what 5 deputies total. If
Very
that
simple. I'm hearing there was one hospital, and they nobody imagined that this would ever happen, and
right.
the hospital went insane because it
a
was
couple
so
of students
small.
had to
They
get
couldn't.
transferred.
You had to get transferred to San Antonio, and just
Mhm.
That's a
it
long ways
was.
And
away
mind
too.
you, I don't know if anybody knows, San Antonio is 85 miles from that city.
That's a long ways
That's a
away to
long
be
trip.
transferred with some
And, when you have
gunshot wounds,
life-threatening injuries,
and
85 miles.
you're a child. That's rough.
I'm so I've gotten so tired of now hearing like we never thought this would happen, or we couldn't imagine, or things like that. How many? I mean, at what point do we wake up and say, I have to defend myself? I have to protect not only myself, but the people that I'm responsible for. You know, like we just talked about it last week and the week before that.
Hmm.
I feel like every episode we talk about the same thing, just in a different situation and scenario, but unfortunately, what's going to happen is um, a lot of, or the push for the civilians like ourselves to be disarmed is going to be the narrative.
Hmm.
And that's the unfortunate part about it. Instead of finding ways to have people defend themselves, and for the people to start waking up. Like I don't know. I just look at the people around here, or that we have came in contact with, who live in this fairy tale land or world, and just refuse to find a way to protect themselves or to learn how to protect themselves better. You know, like, I don't know, man.
Well, I think a lot of that comes from, I don't know about you guys, but like for me, even though my grandfather was a police officer for a very long time, he taught his children that guns were not necessarily safe to have unless you absolutely needed them. And I feel like that's the rhetoric for a lot of people and their families, is that it's the gun that's not safe, instead of teaching people
It's the
gun safety and then letting them know that the people are not safe. So like if you're a criminal or you plan on doing ill will to somebody, it don't matter what you have, you're going to still do that ill will. The only difference is that you might not get as many people per se. So I think that that is the biggest thing, is that people have been taught that guns are bad.
So a couple things with that. I agree completely. They're still looking into the story. Right before we got on, I've been looking at this since it happened. They're still trying to figure out whether he stole the guns or like whose guns those were. I don't think they know just yet, and they don't know if it was a pistol or if it was a rifle. They're saying pistol
they
and
said,
rifle, but it
yeah, they
hasn't
said
been
rifle, but they
confirmed
couldn't
yet.
identify what it was.
Right.
Yeah.
So second, um, and this one it just hits me in a different space because it's like playing spades and somebody throwing out the big joker. Like you can't win. You just don't know what to say. So, my fiance Rose, she comes to me. She's seeing it. She's like, instantly, she's like, well, if we get rid of guns, it'll make it easy. It'll make it less of an impact. Kind of like what you just said, Aisha. Like more people, it'll be less people injured if there wasn't a gun involved. And I'm like, it makes sense, but on the flip side, it's just like
Oh,
They
he cut
freeze?
out. Yeah, he just cut out.
it's like taking away guns that. But it is a valid question that people like to impose.
But I feel like though, like you have to look at the broader picture, and the aspect that if you remove guns, you're not removing the root of the problem. You're just taking away the tool.
I agree.
So
But they're not
have,
even taking away the tool, though.
I mean, that's essentially what that is. If you say you're removing the gun, you're taking away the tool that they feel like is going to cause the most damage.
Because
That's
I'll
really what it's about.
I'll
But
give an
like,
example. Oh, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, but like, um, doing that doesn't, like I said, doesn't solve the problem. Like the issue is the person, the individual. Like I guarantee you, if somebody is wanting to kill a bunch of people, they'll figure out a way. They'll find out.
Right.
It's not like they just need the gun. The gun is just the, I guess, the easiest thing to get to cause the most damage in that time frame.
And playing the devil's advocate, that's all that you know a lot of people, honestly, not just Rose, like a lot of people see is just like the easy access to a gun. Of course, being in Texas is one of the most, I won't say laxed, but it is a great state to be in if you're 2A.
Mm-hmm.
So she looked at it like, well, what if his dad, his grandma, whoever had a gun, he had easy access to it to get it. You know what I'm saying? But it could go a lot of ways with that, honestly.
Well, and then like you have, because like, so like if you take away guns, let's say that that's the decision that they make or whatever, then you can no longer defend yourself against somebody who may have gotten a gun illegally. Like
Absolutely.
you're never going to be able to get rid of the black market. It's there, it's always going to be there. So if you remove the gun from the people who are law abiding citizens, you're leaving them helpless to people who are not law abiding citizens and are going to get a gun regardless because that's what they're going to do. So maybe not the 18-year-old, but he could find somebody to get what he wants. And so that's already going to cause a different problem. Like, the United States is huge into A. Guns have been a part of our history for so long that there would be absolutely no way to completely eradicate pistols, rifles, shotguns, or anything from the country. Like, it would be impossible. So they're going
Right.
to go somewhere. They're just going to go to the underbelly of the country instead of to the legal citizens who aren't looking to go that route.
You know, they think that saying stricter gun control or get rid of the guns is going to work. But yeah, to the outside community who know nothing about firearms or how they're actually purchased um, or any statistical fact at all, will hear that and say quite naturally, yeah, if you take away the guns and you make it so much harder for people to buy them, then that's the fix, right? But when the original AR ban happened, and it did happen but people think that banning ARs is new to America. They had an AR ban once before with Joe Biden at the head of that. Um, and they reversed it and repealed it because it did not stop gun crime. It just didn't.
It'll never stop gun crime. That's the thing.
Making it harder is just going to make it harder for you and I, to defend ourselves if the time ever came. You know, people are literally being targeted right now at their most vulnerable. Um, I don't know. People walking in the grocery store, people in New York walking at the grocery store. None of them people had firearms. Kids at a school where they're just trying to learn, or they should be learning.
Well, remember, that's the thing we learn in the class. As
It is
far
so
as
cowardice.
I look at it like, for example, not to say that it's never been done. We've seen somebody attempt to rob a firearm store or a fire or gun show before, but at a small percent. Like, if as a criminal, if you know the other person has a firearm or some type of weapon on them, the thought process changed dramatically. Rather, I'm just going to freely go in and I know knowingly that nobody else has anything. If a criminal knows that everybody is strapped, so to say, like, it makes a huge difference. Like, I might not do that. You know what I'm saying? I might not want to risk my life, but as Sean was saying, like, these situations, schools, freaking going into stores that that have gun signs up that say don't enter with no trespassing with guns. Straight cowards, because they know nobody has a weapon. So they're honestly at the end of the day, they can go in comfortable as hell, because they understand that there's no weapon involved.
Literally shooting crabs in a barrel, bro. I mean, however you want to say it, but literally just open season on defenseless people, and that's the problem, you know. And I'm really well. I mean, you gave some insight that this is a small town, with not a lot of resources in terms of uh, police officers and what do you call them, resource officers and things like that. Um, which is even more reason for I'm like, the teachers, man. This has been a big debate for years now. Should teachers carry firearms or have firearms at their disposal? And
You read my mind, Lord. I was literally about to say that. At one point, they was talk about that.
Well, man,
It was after the Sandy Hook
it was
shooting
after the Sandy Hook, and
that came into play.
me and Aisha brought up. We was talking about that earlier, and I was like, I'm actually, I would be an advocate for it. Maybe not every teacher, but select teachers.
If they're comfortable,
if they're comfortable, take them through extensive training.
right.
Obviously a psych eval, and make sure they're in the right headspace. I know it's probably a lot of teachers that may be, anti-gun. You have some teachers pro-gun, that's fine. But I mean, in the stages we are in this world right now in society, like, we can't stress enough to people, like, you need to be carrying. Period. You can't go. You can't go with the mentality of thinking, "Oh, this will never happen to me. Oh, this was states away. It'll never happen here." Like, it can happen. And we just want everybody to be prepared.
Unfortunately, by the time police respond, there could be 10 plus.
yeah, it takes nothing.
It takes
It takes
nothing, man.
Nothing.
Waiting for a police response is
I think the other thing too, they need to, and it's unfortunate because I know they started doing this in some areas, implementing more plans, like how you have
Action
fire
plans.
drills or earthquake drills or tornado drills. You have a live shooter drill. And I know that sounds so horrible to say that, but you have to be prepared. Like, you can't stick your head in the sand and be like, this can never happen. I'd hate for this to happen. But like, I'd rather my kids know what to do, even if you talk about it at home and tell your kids what to do or where to go, or, whatever the case may be. Like, we were talking about a child who was in a situation like this at a school and jumped out the window and ran off because he didn't want to be in that situation and realized the window was going to open. That to me was a smart move for that kid because the shooter was in the building. They got away. So if that is a better option for our children to be able to find escape routes and go other directions to escape the school or whatever when there's an active shooter in the building, that should be something that is taught to you. That is something that should be taught to your children, should be talked about with at school.
I don't know, man.
If anybody, I would say anybody that's watching it doesn't know, a mass shooting is considered 4 killings or more. That's considered a mass shooting.
We're about to start up this this initiative. So we had been doing our homework and, of course, researching all of this. So those of you who know people at the heads of these churches and school districts and things like that, please reach out to us, because, we are going to be talking, to these people, because, like I said last week, the time for doing nothing is over. I don't know, man. Like, this shit is so disheartening that we gotta be able to defend ourselves a little bit better, man. Looking at these kids, man, literally lose their life. I mean, it's watching 10 black men and women last week lose their life, watching 2 or 3 other people last week lose their life. I mean, come on, man. By the time the cops arrive, it's too late. We will always forever be on the front lines. You're absolutely right, man. I know one thing. We always like to say, man. You have to be the one to protect yourself. We don't have the luxury a lot of times to just sit and wait for the police.
Seconds count.
The police are already, or at least here in Richmond and Petersburg, are already in short supply as it is. People like you got literally officers just quitting the force, you know, things like that, because it's getting too stressful. But so with the less amount of police officers that are available, wait times increase. And with wait times increasing, the chances, and the probability of you surviving whatever situation, you know, diminish. And that's just not with the police. That's with the ambulance, um, and your first aid, you got to be able to. I don't know, man. When are we gonna wake up,
I was literally just about to say that. When are we going to truly start respecting,
Breon? What's good, bro?
What up, Brian?
honestly, just ourselves, man? Like we gotta understand that this is happening. It unfortunately it's becoming the norm. Like we were literally just talking last week. Ken and Sean was like, "Yo, what we gonna talk about?" And in seconds, CNN breaking news, mass shooting. We just had one last week. I mean, it. How many times does it have to happen before we truly understand that? All right, we need to take matters into our own hands. Self preservation is has got to be the answer.
Well,
You
to
know,
be honest, we never will, simply because anytime is with the Buffalo shooting, or any of these mass shootings, to be honest, the media hops on it. What's the first thing they say? you know, gun control, gun control, gun control. So when you hear that, it's starting to get embedded, and then people are going to read it like, man, they really do need to take guns away from these people, not realizing that the people you're trying to take guns away from are law-abiding citizens. Like, these are the criminals that are actually the ones doing, these shootings, whether it's mental health reasons or just an act of evil, however you want to put it. But I truly believe, like, we need to get out of our way of continuously looking at the media thinking, yeah, man, it's there needs to be gun control. They need to strengthen the gun control laws, and they need to do this. It's like, no, you want to say strengthen gun control laws, and that's cool. Say let's hypothetically you take all the guns away from law-abiding citizens. Boom, somebody's still breaking your house with a firearm. Then what you gonna say? Now what's your excuse? You don't have excuse, because the first thing you can say is, well, what did y'all want me to do? I ain't had nothing to defend myself with. You want to get rid of guns. So I don't know. Like you say, you hit on the head. People need to wake up and understand, like, by the time you call authorities, that's fine. I mean, hey, if you live right next door to a damn police station, kudos to you, but a lot of people don't. You know what I'm saying? They prey on the most vulnerable people. You went to an elementary school with 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds who didn't know a damn thing. They don't know nothing. They're not going to see life. And you decided to take their life, and she just hurt me. I think I'm also mad just because, like I said, I got kids, bro. So that shit, that pisses me off, bro.
I mean, not just that we got kids. I mean, well, yeah, we got kids, but we go to the grocery store. We go out to the parks. We do normal people shit, and this is where people are literally just being taken advantage of. See, but the difference is, right? Not saying like, well, oh man, we're so some fucking superheroes, you know, that, I don't know. We're not no fucking superhero. However, we very well may lose our lives. However, I refuse to go out, you know, I don't know, man. I
Had
refuse to go out
somebody
like
so had somebody told you, had you if you could replay it back, hypothetically speaking, had somebody lost their life and then were to replay back and somebody had told them like, yeah, man, I'm giving you a chance to save your life with the absolute, protection that you could have. So that being a knife or a gun, the absolute best way to protect yourself. And it was legal and you didn't take advantage of that. How would you truly feel? Like to actually be able to own a legal gun, given the situations and chances now, like it's
that.
to
So I
me,
want
why would I not take advantage of that?
so to your point, Keem, I want to know, or I would imagine asking asking the folks that happen to survive and the adults and what is weighing on their minds the most. I would assume that is I couldn't do anything about it.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
right.
Just thinking about myself and being able to not really put myself in the shoes because I really can't. But I know I would be thinking, you know, I wasn't able to do anything about it for whatever particular reason, and that would be weighing on me the most. You know, I don't know.
The time has come to where learning how to own, not to own, but owning a firearm, learning how to manipulate it, learning how the safety features, the laws surrounding whatever state you're in, the cities, the stipulation. It's
Hold on,
come to
King.
where
I was about to say, King.
Go to
So
read that, Cam.
Aisha just updated me that Richard Public Schools it says we got a text. It says in light of the events in Texas and out of an abundance of caution, Richard Public Schools will implement enhanced searches during student arrival tomorrow morning. Um, it says it's going through. It says there will be also an additional I said Richard Public, excuse me, Richmond Police Department officer at our schools during arrival and dismissal. Given this, please do not be alarmed if you see RPD personnel vehicles at your child's school tomorrow. So, like, apparently they're trying to implement something, which like I say, it's weird that they're doing it because I know when I was in school, we were getting searched. You couldn't even have a cell phone in school.
Yeah, that was in Richmond. That was uh TJ specific.
TJ specifically, but
Uh,
thank you.
Now, one thing to that point, Cam, right? So talking about TJ for a second when we went there. Yeah, we went through metal detectors and got searched and stuff like that before even having uh access to school, and I never liked that shit. And but honestly, it's like now, what
I
do
see
you
why.
do?
Yeah.
Um, I don't know, man. Um, Breon says the world we once knew is gone and
See,
it's
yeah.
not coming back. We have
Stay
to
talking about
adapt. We have to adapt and put preventative measures in place. I swear I'm not trying to sound sensitive, but it's time to change the approach as far as gun-free zones. Well, I'm glad you said that, Breon, because typically, where do well, not even typically, but statistically, where do mass most of I would say I think it's like 90% of these mass shootings, quote unquote, have happened in gun-free zones, um, gun-free counties, gun-free areas, whatever you want to call it. Most of these mass shooters have happened um, in places like that, and people like that's not true. I'm just saying, I'm so serious. Look it up, you know, and that's the problem to me.
His parents have got to start raising our kids as a whole new level of community.
Mr. Yancey,
I
Jesus
know.
Christ.
I was that's what I was laughing about earlier. Mr. Yancey.
Mr.
Hey,
Yancey.
snatching my shit, boy.
Yeah, he did.
Probably will only be solved through building their minds to be resilient, paying attention to our children's state of being. Guns don't kill, people kill. I agree with that.
A good statement, huh? I hear you, huh?
It's a very good statement. Very good statement. Like I said, it's that's very true, man. Until we get in people's mind that guns don't kill, people kill. That's 5 words that carry a lot of weight right there. You know what I'm saying? The sentence, guns don't kill, people kill. Their state of mind, their mental, everything like that. And it's something, I definitely know all my children here have been introduced to firearms and have shot in them, but at the same time, they know, okay, there's a place and a time for everything. We shoot on the range when we're supervised. When we're at home, it's a no-no. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of the fact.
Man, I grew up shooting guns, bro, at the age of 5. BB guns, water guns. I couldn't even
Not water gun.
play a shooting game unless I told my dad safeties of the gun, the proper rules of the gun. Like it was implemented in me from a young age.
I like that. I've never heard that. That's like you said
I,
before you can. If I want a new Call of Duty, okay, all right. They break down the rules of firearm safety. You know what I'm saying? Before you can play that, I like that.
It's just I look at it literally like it's like it should be like swimming, riding a bike, driving. At this day and age, we should all be able to understand how to at least operate and manipulate a gun to the most, minimalist experience. Like if a gun is sitting there, a random gun is sitting around you, you should be able to disarm that weapon and make it safe.
Very
at
true.
this day and age. It's
That's
just
definitely something we teach in our classes, man.
We gotta take out the negative. It's still a lot of negative
connotation.
See, but the problem is, and I'm talking specifically with the black community, with the older black community, is we are afraid of guns. Like we just are. Like the older black community is afraid of guns. Like you can't tell me no different. There's some outliers, but generally, like the older black community, like are terrified, petrified of firearms. Just due to the stigma surrounding them. Like whatever the case, watching the news and seeing, this person killed this person and whatever the case, but.
Well, I would definitely say one thing in their defense, though, too. You think about it, back in that time, there wasn't. I mean, your great granddad or your granddad probably had a rifle in the house, but it wasn't known for blacks to be able to walk around with a firearm on them and not have to catch any bullshit from anybody else about walking around with a firearm. So it's definitely a different time. Yes, we do have to adapt to it. But like I say, it was unknown, back then for a black man to be able to walk down the street, what I'm saying, with a 1911 on his hip and, walk through the neighborhood and somebody like, what the hell you doing, boy? You know what I'm saying? In that era.
Yeah, I mean, so,
But I
but
mean, you're right. You have to adapt with the times. I get that part. I'm just saying, back in those times, it wasn't prevalent. That's
no,
all.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying, like, you know, it's still so ingrained in us, in the older generation that guns are this mythological fucking killing death machine, that it's hard for people to get out of that. And my question is, what do we even say, and what do you even do, to get people out of that mindset? Now I will say the trend when I say older, I mean 50 plus. In the 50 plus demographic of African American men and women, there is a trend in the those people learning and taking classes, whether or not they're necessarily purchasing, but they're at least starting to take classes, and I'll say kudos to that. But how do we ramp that up a bit? See, because majority of times in this 50 and up group, I'm gonna say 60 and up group, they live by themselves. They're living by themselves, they're taking care of a loved one. It is nobody but them, and if something was to happen, then they will call not only 911 but a loved one, and even still, you know, we may not be there on time, and the increasing amount of people taking advantage of the senior citizens, right now is at an all-time high as well. Breaking in their houses, smashing and grabbing, doing whatever, punching old ladies that we've been seeing and stuff like that. See, because they can do it. It's the same thing that's what's going on right now, just in a different light, taking advantage of a situation where they feel superior to people, and they know they will have very little to no repercussion and be able to do these things with relatively amount of ease. And it's frustrating. But at some point, when are we gonna wake up, man? We believe in the Lord for sure. Like, yeah, we do. We believe what we believe, and we have faith in what we believe. However, people don't give a fuck about that.
Gotta have a little wisdom in that.
Like, people don't care about what you believe in. People don't care about where you go when you die. Don't nobody care about that. We do, but they don't. And with still having faith, you still at some point still got to have the wisdom and enough discernment to say, all right, man, I understand, that things are different. Faith without works is dead, man. And that's just how I look at it, man. Like, at some point you got to do something, man. You got to learn something.
Train and train often, man.
Yeah, we're not saying that.
I'm not saying go out to a range. You can train.
No. I know. I'm talking about that phrase itself. Like, we use what? Kid, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Kid know too now.
we using that one. We're gonna purge y'all, so we're gonna make up another slogan.
I hate y'all.
Yeah,
it felt right at the time. Whatever.
Yeah,
that's what it felt right at the time. We'll move on.
That made my booty itch, man.
Plantation mindset, religion, and spirit. You
But
said.
yeah, man. I don't know. Aisha, what you got from a lady's perspective over there, man? While I make this coffee.
Um, I mean, the biggest thing I would say is that it's helpful, like you guys are talking about the older community finally getting into training and stuff like that. It's helpful when they themselves have their grandkids or their children, encouraging them in that direction. Um, and wanting them to be safe and comfortable. Like we have a neighbor who is just her and her mom. She's an older woman, and she was saying that her grandchildren and her children were telling her that she needed to have some kind of protection in the house, a gun, something. She was like, I'm not sure if I'm comfortable with that yet. And I was like, we're in the same building. So I was like, well, we're down here. So if you ever need something, let us know. But I was like, at least get like a shotgun or something.
It'd be funny. We go out to the range. She said, "Y'all got a lot of guns there, baby." She's a sweet lady, man.
But yeah, I think for that is helpful. Like, I mean, the overall picture is that more Black people are getting into the 2A community and stepping in and trying to get out of, like Breon said, that plantation mindset, and trying to find better ways to protect themselves. But it's definitely going to be the younger generation that is probably going to break that mindset before the older generation does. Because I mean, we say it's a long time ago, but it really hasn't been that long when we weren't allowed to have guns, when we weren't allowed, to be us. So a lot of them, like our
this
grandparents
is
and
literally
stuff,
brand new to us,
right?
in a
Like
sense.
my grandmother, who's still around, was grew up in segregation. So I'm just like, it feels like when we talk about it, it feels like it should be so long ago, but realistically, it's
not that
not.
long ago.
So they still have that same mindset, and it's going to take a while for it to be broken to be able to make people see. And I think these incidences with mass shootings and stuff like that, and with the police shootings and everything, they're making at least the younger generation want to protect themselves and not just rely on someone else for their protection.
Boys out there getting them glizzies with the extendos and the lemon squeeze.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it, man. We gotta all stop procrastinating, man. We gotta stop putting the date on stuff. Well, I'm gonna go take this class. I'm gonna get a gun. I'm gonna get a gun this time. I'm gonna go this time. We gotta stop putting the date on stuff, because at the end of the day, we just don't know when the next mass shooting is gonna happen. When
Bro,
that
we the
next person
biggest
is gonna come.
procrastinators.
We are, yeah. I would.
Well, you hit that
definitely
one
say
on the
that.
nose, because we are. We procrastinate like a mug.
But again, I mean, that's going to take breaking that mindset, that fear that's been inbuilt, like, instilled in us, that guns themselves are dangerous, and that, having one in your household is dangerous, or that learning about it can be dangerous, or the stigmas behind owning any kind of firearm. Like, this just got to try and move past that. But again, it's going to take a minute, unfortunately.
Man, I'm just gonna say it, man. We just fucking lazy, bro. Like, we just fucking lazy. We rather do whatever the fuck we want to do, whatever else we want to do with our money.
I don't think
Opposed
it's
to,
that.
well, it's a combination, Like, I don't disagree with what you're saying. Yeah, it's definitely the mindset. Yeah, for sure. We're afraid of guns, but that's only a certain amount of people. The other people, like, still might be massive fucking procrastinators. Like, there's some who genuinely have like a phobia, or it's been ingrained in them. And there's other people that look at us when we talk or something like that. I'm like, yeah, I hear what you're saying. Like, man, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna come see you guys. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And nothing.
Never hear from them again.
And the problem with that is, a lot of us, a lot of times, not even just with this situation, we don't do shit until we feel like it hits home.
Right.
Yeah.
Until it's
Oh,
at your
very much
fucking
so.
until it's at your fucking doorstep.
Well, so
Yeah,
like, sorry. So I just feel like that mindset also stems from slavery. Like it's a every man for themselves type mindset. And unless it affects you, you don't feel like you need to do anything because you're doing everything you feel like to protect yourself. So a lot of that comes from the slave mindset. A lot of this, spending my money where I want to spend it because this over here is not that important to me because you don't know. You don't realize how important protecting yourself is until somebody gets hurt or you get robbed or somebody breaks into your house and shoots your children or something crazy like that. Like you don't realize how important it is for you to protect yourself until it happens to you, because we've been taught that it's every man for themselves. It's if it don't matter, if it don't pertain to me, I ain't got to worry about it.
right.
We've also been taught too, like if I don't bother anybody,
Right.
if I live in a good neighborhood, I'm secured. If I don't do this, I'm secured. I just sit in my house. Ain't nobody gonna bother me. And it's like you're the main people they want to come bother,
Right.
because they know you're vulnerable. You always want to be aware, which we talk about that all the time. Of your surroundings, everything like that. And it is a slavery mindset. It is I'm gonna let Joe Schmo over there do what he do because it ain't got nothing to do with me. That's one of the main things you always hear, like, it ain't got nothing to do with me. And we turn a blind eye. But
I mean, for a while, guns in the black community was drug dealers and criminals.
Yeah.
I mean, that's who had the guns. Like if you had a gun, you was a criminal. So I mean, like that's a huge thing. Like erasing and making sure that people understand that just because you own a gun, that don't make you a bad person. That means that you want to protect yourself. You're looking to be the first line of defense for you and yours,
yeah.
instead of leaving that first line of defense to the police, who are always going to be minutes away from you.
Or like what old boy said in the class, he said cops ETA was 45 minutes from his house. I said, Jesus
That's what I'm
Christ.
saying. Like, if you live in a bad neighborhood or far away or whatever, it might take them a minute
if
to
you
get
live
to
in a
you.
bad neighborhood, it's gonna take a minute because they don't care about that shit anyway.
But that's what I'm saying. It's gonna take them a minute to get to you. I mean, people don't realize that, but if you live in a bad area of a city, the cops ain't around the corner. What happens there, it happens all the time. So to them, that's not no emergency. That's not something that they looking to get to. Or if you live in a city that's congested like New York City or LA, the cops are always going to be far away. They're never going to be close to you.
Yeah.
So
I guess what we're getting at, everybody, is just change your mindset. If you don't have a firearm or if you don't feel comfortable with it at the moment, get some type of take a course, take a class, VTSA, with us, and get the information you need before taking that first step of saying, all right, I feel like I do need to purchase a firearm. It's the best thing you can say. You have to be open-minded to this in order to say, well, oh man, when is it going to change? Or how's it going to change? When is it going to change? How about you be open-minded a little bit to saying, well, maybe I should do something. Maybe I should protect myself. Maybe I should be the one protecting my family before just saying, well, why the cops ain't coming out here doing nothing? It's a mindset, man. You need to change it. Just be open-minded. That's what it comes down to.
For everybody that's on the fence about guns and always, guns are bad, guns are this, God forbid that you'll probably get in a car accident before an actual gun accident that would happen to you personally. You still had to learn how to drive a car. Cars are very, very dangerous, but you still had to learn how to drive. It's just us literally being lazy and not wanting to learn about the weapon at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I never thought about it that way, but that makes sense. At the end of the day.
I mean, once you truly learn about the gun, there's nothing bad about it. You know, we understand the safety of it. We understand how to conduct ourselves when we have it on us, when people are in our house. You know, where to put it, how to store it. But we gotta truly and actively go out and truly want to learn. At
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, it's just like anything else that we actively want to do. You know, we bet on sports, we do all this other stuff that's not important to our life, but this one thing that we truly are insisting that everybody do to protect their life. You just kick it under the butt. I'll do it. I'll get to it. How
And
many
like
how
that,
many times more do I got to get
most
to it?
people feel like why is it my job when I have law enforcement around me? That's what people feel like.
I mean, when you over dependent on somebody else, it like nobody can value your life as much as you can value your own life.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I I can't pay even if I walked around with security on me with me every day. I can't pay him to value my life more than I should my own.
Very
You
true.
know, I
It's
don't
an
know, man.
interesting dynamic between, like, especially the black community and police officers, because on one side, we're absolutely taught not to trust police officers. Like, they are evil, essentially. But then on the other side, we're also taught, well, if something happens, you need to call the police and they'll handle the situation. Like, which is it? Are you gonna protect yourself, or are you gonna let somebody else handle it for you?
Well, I mean, that's a good point. Now, I won't say that we're necessarily taught that. It's just something that, as every black man that I've came across has all had from experience, they're running with the law that went a direction that it shouldn't have. Um,
I mean,
Now,
that's maybe not a teacher teaching you or your parents teaching you, but that's, being taught by society that that is what
yeah,
it is.
life teaching your ass shit. Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Right.
for sure. I mean, now to that point, right? I don't know. So I want to shift gears for a second. But we go dive back into that and hear it a little bit. So the leader of, in fact, um, just went to court again yesterday, or he's back in court finally after 2 years. Um, and for those who don't know what INFAC is the Not Fucking Around Coalition.
Grandmaster J.
Where the leader of the coalition, Grandmaster J, finally saw some court time after allegedly, now when I say allegedly, I mean allegedly, pointing his rifle at a police officer
On the roof.
on a roof in Louisville, Kentucky. Um, Now, say whatever you may say about Grandmaster Jay, and I do have some thoughts about him. um, I I ain't gonna say for a fact because I won't dare. Um, but I highly doubt that he pointed his rifle at a cop. Because if you point your rifle at a cop and you ain't dead,
He's gonna pull that.
you
He's
know.
gonna shoot.
Yeah. So uh, I don't think that. Um, Now
Excuse
the
me.
coalition, they had their huge march in Louisville, Kentucky at the Kentucky Derby during COVID and whatnot, and they actually did have some incidents happen during that time where a gun went off. Um, One of the members, accidentally discharged their weapon a couple times. And then ultimately he was arrested for pointing his rifle at a cop. Um, he's finally seeing some court time. So whether or not you like them, dislike them, I feel like they got that brother out the picture very quickly.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
and people want to relate it to Malcolm X and things like that. I ain't gonna say all of that, but I agree with the movement. Don't necessarily agree with him. But nonetheless, he was an example of, you know, he had a hell of a following behind him, and they wasted absolutely no time dismantling him, opposed to our other great leaders, in this country. Um, so yeah, any thoughts on that?
His militia was incompetent.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah.
In a sense, yeah, it really was.
Uh, I
I
agree with the
understood
movement.
what he was trying to do with the movement. I didn't understand the structure of the organization. I think that's kind of where it got me. I got, read as much as I could on it, but like I said, I didn't understand the structure of what he had going on. And honestly, the shit just kind of came out of nowhere a few years ago. Like I had never heard of the guy. And then I was just like, who is this guy? But
I mean, his following grew
Boy, look like
rapidly.
Samuel L. Jackson.
He do though, Loki. His following did grow very rapidly at the time, especially given the election year and COVID and Black Lives Matter. Like his following did grow exponentially. Um, but regardless, man, just keeping it straight to what happened or allegedly happened. I don't agree, and I don't believe that he did. It was just a way to get him off of the pedestal, that he was on, and I felt like the government did try, to silence him, in that regard, um, which is unfortunate. Huh?
that's not
It's not
uncommon at all.
uncommon for any of our black leaders, like ever. I think the only one that I've really seen
I
last
mean,
long is Minister Farrakhan, honestly.
yeah.
Everyone else has kind of been taken out, gotten
And
rid
he's just
of.
way
I mean, at
way
this
well
point,
protected.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't my leader, but he was a lot of people's leader. And that in that regard is unfortunate what what they did to him or trying to. Um, Hopefully, he has a good lawyer and some support on his side in that regard. So I don't know. That's all I got. But I did want to mention that that is a story that came across my phone today. Um,
Not Reverend Al.
oh God, no, never.
No.
We can't talk about the. Don't bring the Rev up in here.
Now with that perm he got his hair.
Reverend Al Sharpton looked terrible, but anyway. Um, but yeah. So in other news, of course, Joe Biden's back at it, man. He's um, saying what he got to say. He's back on the You know, he never got off the gun ban train. But he's back.
Absolutely not.
You know,
Umar Johnson.
don't,
Don't talk
don't,
about Dr. Umar. Don't you talk about Dr. Umar.
listen here, brother.
His resume is beyond his world.
Um,
He be
so
spitting out dates though. He be spitting out dates. I give him that one.
um,
So I'm sorry, just an update. 10 minutes ago, it says the grandmother of the suspected gunman is hospitalized in critical condition.
yeah. So one would be safe to say 20 people, right? Um, I
Let's
feel
hope
like
she pulls through.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly will hope so. Because you know, got to answer some questions, man. But anyway, but yeah, so Smoking Joe is back at it.
Yeah, 20.
Actually, it's at 21 now. It's
So
19
it's
students,
19.
two adults
Yeah,
now.
not including the
The death
grandmother.
toll rises.
Jesus Christ, bro.
Hmm.
Yeah, Breon. Yeah, I mean, the problem is, people are going to, I fear and I would hate that somebody else seeing this shit and be like, oh, I could top that, like, but
But
we just said that shit last week, didn't it?
I would say,
Competition.
but somebody is. But the thing that's really frustrating for me is that there's always signs for these people. There's always signs that they plan on doing something, or they make their plans public in some kind of way, and someone else sees it, and it's like it gets ignored. Like a boy in Buffalo was on the watch list. Like, how? This kid, they said that he was posting pictures of guns before, and I'm sure he's had signs previous to that he was not stable.
I feel like these people, hey man, so TJ was the first. John Marshall, yeah, John Marshall is definitely, a school that got the metal detectors too. Yeah,
Hmm. It was definitely enriching public schools. I can tell you that.
But I
you
just
know.
feel like for they did it for
They did
different
that shit for cell
reasons.
phones. They ain't doing shit for
I would say
guns.
they did that for different reasons. They didn't do it for
They
protection
did that shit for
reasons.
cell phones.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, cell phones, and like to
Unless you had
have some searches going on
and
without it being a big deal.
I'm gonna say any of those that know if you went to TJ, you brought your cell phone and the day you went to tech. Because when you got back, metal detectors
Oh,
was
I cut
down.
my phone off, and it was just fine.
so so all right, so to that point, right? So going from metal detectors and all of that stuff, at TJ to when I moved out to Hanover and not a not a metal detector in sight, it was definitely it
Oh
was
yeah,
different. See,
yes.
because at the time it was like growing up, and going to school, it was like that was all you. I mean, you knew that's all you knew. And so I remember my first day going to Hanover High, and I was like, I don't have to go. I don't have to go to through a metal detector. Like it tripped me out, man. Like it really did, yo. It really tripped
Sean
me
was up
out.
there. Hey, yo, Slim, y'all like a metal
Hey
detector?
man, Tuck. Hey, that. I mean, absolutely right.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, Tuck. But on the same token, being what we're in, the business that we do, we cannot not talk about it.
Well, the so I mean that kind of goes back to our point last week, right? To talk about a lot of these people doing this stuff for the attention, right?
Hmm.
They want to be glorified, or seemingly, or they to their community or to people who are nutcases just like them, they are glorified, and to that point, that's the reason why I feel like more people are beginning to have the courage to act out and do crazy stuff like this because they want to be added to the list as well, you know, and potentially get out of it and see their day in court. As this guy did not, which the original report said he was taken into to custody, which I was like, yeah, but obviously, he was taken down at the scene. But they want that attention, man. As sick as it might be to you and me, to them it makes perfect sense for whatever reason. You know, I don't know. I'm really at a loss for it. You know,
Mm,
I just feel like it's like if we don't make these discussions about these events, it's kind of like a damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like, I think it's important. for people to know that even though we are 2A advocates and obviously we sell firearms, that we sympathize with these situations and hate for them to continue happening.
Hey, Square, I ain't even go because I mean that's topic
It's
of
a whole other issue.
conversation that we can have offline. But um, um, to some extent, I feel like it's a bit strange in itself as well. Um, so they got pictures of the supposed weapons now.
Suppose that's on his Facebook.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did say they was it his Facebook or his Instagram?
One
So
of them.
rifles.
Somebody send me the link to that so I can put it up
I
on the screen, big screen.
I was like, we just got some pictures. I don't know. It was no link behind it.
Oh yeah, well yeah, send me the pic through the email or something. So
All right, hold up, I got you.
evidently, right? So he did use AR,
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly.
or these are his guns that he took a picture of.
These are the guns he used.
Yeah.
Mm,
Nobody knows whether or not he actually purchased these guns, like these are actually his, or whether he took them from somebody else.
hmm. Um, Tuck said MK Ultra. All right, Tuck. You what you gonna do? You gonna turn it? Look, because I can talk. I can talk about MK Ultra, but the Manchurian candidate and whatnot. I mean,
Hmm.
I ain't look. Let me not even start that. Um, but anyway, now whenever y'all send me that link, I'll pull it up.
I
But
just looked at the pictures.
to what?
I just sent the pictures to the email.
Oh, okay.
So everybody can see that DDM Ford look like a Colt.
Yeah, it is. I don't know how to pull it up. Hold on.
Hey, what was his name? His full name?
Salvador
Salvador
Ramos.
Ramones, something like that.
I don't know. So as I try to figure out how to pull that up, man. But he looked a little sick in the head himself, man. Looking at
I
why
thought it was real.
why all these cats look alike, bro. All these cats be looking
Like they crazy?
weird as hell, bro. Like I don't know. It's the strangest thing. He looked like Michael Jackson. Like the other dude from last week, he want to be like I don't know, man, Terminator or something. He want to came in full attack gear. Hold
That
on,
was
man.
odd in and of itself, considering that he was in New York and knew that nobody was going to be armed.
How do I pull this up? Hold on, let me see. Copy. There we go.
But I mean, they said in the reports, I think in one of the articles or whatever on the story today, that, like, that there's always signs that these people are not mentally stable or that they plan to do something.
Hold on. There we
I
go.
hate to be the, judge a book by its cover type person, but
That boy look crazy.
I mean, he does. He looks a little off. So I feel like, you like we've talked about so many times before, like we got to stop overlooking issues with our children. Like, if I think something is wrong with you, you will not have access to diddly squat shit.
So yeah, was that a Daniel Defense
It's
It
a
looked like
Daniel to fix Stadium
yeah,
4. Look like
yeah, it is. It's a Daniel Defense, and
So then, like, I'm curious
That's why that full
if
group so far.
they're gonna end up being some of the companies that are sued.
There's a good chance it's gonna come.
right, exactly. So I mean,
Like,
obviously, the
Everybody know how that.
Remington had a massive settlement with the victims of Sandy Hook.
mhm.
Um, and I would imagine years from now, it's probably going to go the same way, with Daniel Defense, and
I don't know.
that look like the same victim.
I feel like the
Is that
thing
which
with
one?
The one
Top one?
to the right, the one to the right is look like the same victim.
I don't think that's a
I feel
Victor.
like
Hold
with
on. What if I
Remington
hold on?
though,
Let me
they
pull
were
it up on my
stating
phone.
that their
Yeah.
campaigns were geared towards younger people, basically, like white males of his age or whatever, and that was like the thing. I feel like since that, a lot of manufacturers don't necessarily advertise in that way.
Well, that's also true. And Breon, like that's a good point that you make. That's definitely a
Yeah,
saint. That's definitely a saint. Um,
yeah.
because they knew that kid was crazy.
yeah, that's definitely a saint. There's no he's 18, right? I think he was 18, right?
Yeah, he's a
And he has a DD, yeah, Daniel Defense, with an
What
EO
the
tech.
EOTech
What a
one?
Geotech. That's a goddamn. That's a
Yeah.
$700 goddamn optic right there.
And a Saint Victor. That is that's about $3,000, right there. So I would definitely side with you, Breon. Like somebody, um, somebody bought those for him. Well, we don't know much about the guy just yet, but
Right.
I will. It is kind of safe to assume. I'm like he had some help buying those rifles. You know,
Yeah, he probably stole
um,
his grandma credit card.
I was gonna say either somebody bought them for him or he stole those from somebody he knows, like he had access to them in the same house.
well, yeah. So
Which
I'm sure they're gonna dive all into that and try to make
probably
a mess of that. Or, but those some pretty expensive rifles that he chose to do this with, and this is the guy. I don't know if y'all watch, you can see him or really see that clearly or whatever, but you know,
Mm.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I think he snapped because he had no likes on that picture.
And I would imagine
I mean
he didn't have.
he could have been bullied or anything like that, but somebody knows he was gonna snap.
So
Typically, when you're bullied on a level like that, you don't. When you're bullied on a level like that, you wouldn't go after innocent kids. You're gonna
Right. So
go to
that's
the high
also my
school
other
and you're
thing
gonna go
is
after the fucking bully. That's
I
typically
want to
what you do.
know exactly why he chose the elementary school versus his own high school.
I don't know,
What
but
made him go
I
there?
I give it 24 hours. You already know the mental health cliches gonna get played into
That's
it.
fine. I still want to
That,
know why he chose the elementary school versus his own high school
that's
because
just
that's where he goes.
pure evil, man. Like I don't. There's no
It's
other way to
pure
put
evil.
it.
And again, like I said, I give it 24 hours. Well, what about his mental health?
And
As
like
always.
Sean said before, like we stated, I know for sure that some middle schools here in the 757 area, but I know all high schools have at least two officers on point at every time. So at elementary school, he knows there's no officers there.
I'm,
So
and that's what Kenneth pointed out earlier too. But again, it's a small town. Is it likely that they have ROs at their school? At
yeah,
any of their schools?
that's
Do
true.
they have the manpower for that, or is it just like security guards at the school?
I mean, that's also true. You know, I mean, like I said, then again, it is a small town. We just don't
Small
know what
town,
type of
man.
resources they have. You know, we don't know.
Unfortunately, we won't have any motive due to him being deceased. But I'm like you. I would like to know the motive behind why choose this school, these children.
I mean, I'm sure grandma maybe knows since she got shot beforehand that maybe she probably knows a little something.
Well,
On top,
that's
grandma's
exactly my point, right? So I was like,
on top of it, grandma's
I
also in critical condition.
That's true.
right. That's what I was like. That's why I hope that she somehow does pull
Pull
through
through.
because she's gonna have to answer some questions for sure.
And I'm just wondering, like, how small of a town is this? Like, did everybody know everybody? So is this somebody that everybody in the community knew? And if it is somebody everybody in the community knew, did everybody know his state of mind? Was everybody aware that he was a little off and it went overlooked?
Right.
So, I mean, typically when you're close knit like that, that's what happens. You'd be like, you don't mess with that little boy. He little off. But
Well,
keep quiet about it.
Yeah, we'll tell you, ain't no Burger King, ain't no small job paying for them rifles though. Somebody
Nah.
bought him. Somebody bought him them rifles.
Yeah, his grandma American Express. I just said it.
well, I mean that's true too.
That's
Some
very
people,
true.
some people won't show their emotional state.
That's
That's
true. From that picture, he definitely did.
he just old boy did look weird as fuck though. He just, I mean, I don't know. I mean, what can we do about it now except find better way to defend ourselves, man? It's gotten to a point, man. Like because this shit is gone too far.
I mean, because like we talked about earlier, ultimately, no matter how strict the gun laws get, how you make the changes or whatever, if you are somebody who is looking to do harm, you will still do harm. No law is going to keep you from doing that. So, like, what are the safety precautions that need to be in place? Like we had talked about automatic locks for the doors that can be controlled by the teacher. Like in case there's an active shooter, lock the door down or bulletproof doors. Like non-expensive little steps that could be
Damn,
taken.
Ken, boy, you munching, chewing that?
Nigga,
Damn, that
nigga, talk about me with the bottle.
right.
Y'all can hear him because I cannot hear him at all.
Yeah, I get that. Mm. Shit
But
good,
just
ain't
like minor things, like I know public schools don't have a whole lot of money, which is also crazy to me.
man? That's
But
bullshit, bro.
hey, that's
Mm.
always the excuse for why stuff
Mm.
is garbage and why they don't
Mm.
take care of them. Y'all,
Stop, bro. I said issue all the teachers Glock 17s.
huh?
I said issue all the teachers Glock 17s.
If they wanna,
Man, man, these people got plenty of money, man. It's just about what they doing with it, bro.
I was gonna say
Man.
somebody has money, obviously, but it's not going to the schools. It's
Oh
It
going
ain't
to
going
no.
to books. It ain't going to security. So what the hell is it going to?
something else, somebody's pocket.
An armed society is a polite society. I truly believe.
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
Somebody else also said that if you take away the guns of the people, then you leave the people vulnerable to be taken over by the government, and they do that so that the government can step in and do whatever they want.
which is called tyranny, bro. But
Yep.
anyway, um, but yeah, man. So we didn't talked about it, man. I don't know. I got to sleep on this shit. Think about it a little bit more. But we are starting some things, man. So the heads of these churches and you know what's it called these daycares and stuff like that. We're gonna be reaching out to them, and then we're gonna figure some things out. So what I'll do is we're gonna shift gears. And just talk about, man, what we got coming up, bro. Like we got some classes coming up. Obviously concealed carry classes. Go to the website, find that out. Defensive
Defense
shooting
class,
classes. Um,
2 slots left.
oh yeah, dang already. All right.
2 slots left.
So yeah, if you ain't signed up, you probably want to do so.
That class is gonna be epic. I'm
Oh
trying
my
to tell
god,
you,
it's gonna be a good
Yeah.
it's gonna
class.
be epic.
It's gonna be a good class, man, for sure.
Mhm.
Appreciate everybody who signed up. Appreciate everyone who we saw last weekend at the concealed carry classes and the women's only classes. I mean, I heard y'all had a good time in there and whatnot. So
Yeah, it was dope.
good, good, good,
Yeah,
good.
Tuck, it is. That's the June 5th class.
So
Yeah,
June 11th though is both co-ed class and a women's only class.
right. So co-ed at 10 a.m. Women's only at 2. Um, So yeah, we got a few things, man. The website's full of guns. The shop is full of guns, man. I mean, you already know what time it is. We running Memorial Day um, sales this weekend. Um, yeah, man. Go ahead and take advantage of that stuff.
Oh
Come
yeah.
on in, holler at us, throw some on layaway if you need to. Because a lot of people don't realize that we do layaway. Yes, we do layaway. Um, so
Just
keep
not
that
for
stuff on.
no $300 Glocks.
Oh yeah, we ain't got no $300 Glocks. No.
None of that.
Kudos to those who found a Glock for 300, but
I would throw
I
that gun away because it's got bodies on it.
it's definitely got a body on it.
Oh man.
Well, I mean, keep us posted, Tuck. Keep us posted, big dog. Yeah, just
We'll
reach
have more
out.
classes.
You know, it's gonna be, but I will say, the class gonna be epic though. It's gonna be nuts. Um, so bring your water, bring your food, bring your Tylenol. Yeah, add leave
Bring
BC
your
powder.
ammo. Bring
Bring
your
your
ammo.
and if you ain't got that much ammo, we'll have it. So you need a holster, you need a gun, and you need 300 rounds minimum. 300 rounds of ammo. It's gonna be a hell of a course for sure. Um, Other than that, I think that's all we really got coming up. We still got some break time, in between shows, man. So, you know, as we prepare for Chantilly, in about 3 to 4 weeks, something like that,
3 weeks.
Yeah, 3 weeks. We just gonna be around the way. Come on, stop by, call us or whatever. Just don't message us and be like, "Yeah, I got any 40s." Like stop that shit, man. That shit piss me off.
Stop.
Um,
Stop.
um, oh yeah. Oh, this is another thing too. I wanted to talk about real quick. Why are we always so pressed to tell on ourselves, right? And the reason I say that is because I mean these videos on Instagram have gotten so increasingly popular of the bump triggers and stuff like that. Everybody putting it on this gun, that gun, you know, but you're showing that shit off with no tax stamp. Your ass is gonna get caught, bro. Like you don't think the ATF pay attention to that shit? We literally let me pull this shit up. Like
But the
we
thing is, they don't know any better. They don't know the law. They don't know whether or not it's legal or not.
But a lot of these videos, man, are coming from. I mean, I ain't gonna say reputable, but a lot of people follow these folks, and even these local cats. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, if you ain't got a tax stamp, like, yo, stop showing that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, bump stocks, bump triggers, all that shit is illegal, man. Otherwise known as forced reset triggers. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit is illegal, and if you don't have a tax stamp, your ass gonna get caught, bro. Like a couple cats here in Richmond just got hit up for that stuff, man. Illegal machine guns is what they call it, bro. You know what I'm saying? So y'all keep that shit up if y'all want to, man. Like, but you heard it here first, man. Like, if you gonna do what you gonna do, I can't tell you what to do. You grown man, you grown woman. But I'm telling you, like, stop that. We literally got, an email from the ATF, expressive like there's increasing amount of force reset triggers on the market, coming from whatever distributor.
We got to stop being ratchet. Yes,
Coming from whatever distributor, whatever the case is, but they know and they peeping people who got them.
Oh yeah.
Like they sent the long ass email about this jump because
They are not
yes,
playing.
as you know, yes, we are class 3 dealers. We deal a lot in suppressors and fully autos and stuff like that. And machine guns, quote unquote. Force reset triggers or bump stops or bump triggers and all whatever you want to call it on slang term. Force reset triggers are legal and well, they're not illegal, but you have to ascertain a tax stamp to classify it as a machine gun because the ATF classifies it as a machine gun. You know what I'm saying? So y'all keep posting that shit to Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff. Like, look what I got. Look what I did to this. And yeah, all right.
The question is, who is selling them?
Hey, I don't know. I don't know. But evidently it's somebody who's willing to do a multitude of years for it.
You know what I'm saying? Like you
because
your life.
Because one thing about it, them people get snatched up, they gonna tell who they got it from.
They tell it.
Listen, we trying to help you out here.
And you know what? It was Johnny on Laburnum and
old boy down in Virginia Beach that got popped a couple of weeks for having them illegal machine guns. You know what I'm saying?
He sold like 6 of them to us, man. Like, wait,
right?
What?
Exactly. They ain't just get his information. All of a sudden, they picked up somebody with that, and then they snitched. And that's exactly what's gonna happen, man. But yeah, I just want to
seriously
put out the PSA that the ATF is looking at all y'all folks with these, these mechanisms and switches and all this other stuff on your ARs.
Mechanisms. I'm dead.
Yeah.
So it ain't just one person. Like it's a lot of cats right now. And I ain't gonna say no names because I ain't no snitch. But I will say, hey, I'm gonna give y'all a forewarning. All right.
Seriously, like
I know you serious.
How are you committing crimes and posting it on Instagram and Facebook? What is wrong with you?
Because what we just said, people feel like they're not gonna get caught.
No, we don't e-file right now. We do it the standard way because honestly, there is no big difference between e-filing and the standard. Unlike what they have told you.
Takes forever.
Yeah, it's still gonna take. It's gonna take forever. Regardless. So yeah. But yeah, man.
E-file just makes it easier on us, actually.
Yeah, So keep that in mind, peoples. I ain't gonna tell you what to do. Like, just keep all that shit in mind. But other than that, man, listen. We talked about a lot today or tonight, and hopefully, the people wake up, come see us. Y'all got anything?
For me, bro, I had to put a lot of work into it, man. Put more emphasis that Memorial Day weekend sale is coming up. 5% off all firearms, bro. It's a lot of merchandise on there, bro. A lot of different selections. So use code VTSA. We make your purchase and go from there, man. Like, trust me, it's worth it. Go on our website, vatactical.com. It's worth it.
Yeah, and stay tuned, man. We got some big shit on the way too, though.
Motion. Merch is in. Like,
Breon, your merch is shipped. David, your merch is shipped. And somebody else, I believe their merch is shipped too. So yeah, got merch on the website, man.
And lastly, everybody that is planning to take, use of the holiday sale this weekend, it doesn't stop with this purchase. This is just the first step. Make sure after you purchase said firearm, you come take a class, whether it be concealed carry class, self-defense class, get educated on your firearm so that it becomes comfortable. And then you can in turn train your family and loved ones and get them to say, hey man, these Virginia tactical guys know what they're doing. And now it's a whole family event. So make sure you're getting the training and the proper training with said firearm.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And yeah.
Victory screech!
Cut the podcast, man. God damn.
Oh man.
I've been waiting, bro. It's like
Hour
and a half.
Yeah, I did good today. Yeah, I did really good this.
Oh,
I mean, plus we
yes, sir.
only
He
had
told us, big dog. He's a cool dude, man. Cool dude.
Arthur, right? Yeah. He
Nice.
was cool, man.
Nice.
He was cool.
Cool guy.
But anyway, man. Oh yeah, man. Look, listen.
True international effort to pressure.
Hey, Joe Biden, yo. I don't know what the fuck Joe be talking about. What the fuck Joe be talking about?
You have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
When he said that, I was wild. And I was like, "You serious?
Like what?
You ain't black."
Hey, that shit is funny, bro. Hey, I don't know what the hell Joe be talking
Jim Crow Joe.
It's a space cadet. Huh?
True international effort to pressure.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
Oh man. Anyway, yeah. But anyway, man, stay tuned, man. We see y'all next week.